Hello everybody, welcome back to Pixar Astrology. I'm your host Pix, and today I'm going to be discussing what to expect for the astrology of this week. We have a full moon in Aries as the main event. We also have Mercury making a bunch of different aspects, which makes the week kind of busy. And then we also have Venus squaring Uranus for the last time due to its retrograde. And I have a particular vendetta against Uranus, so I will get on my soapbox about that later. But before we get started, I want to remind you all about a couple things. Firstly, my fellowship, which is a membership on my website where you can receive either weekly or monthly horoscopes personalized, and the monthly ones have remediations at the end too. If you're interested in that, go ahead and check the link in the description for the fellowship. Also, you are welcome to join the free 9th House Discord server if you like to discuss mystical things and astrology and tarot. And my bangs, dude. Why are my bangs like that? Like, bangs are so challenging. I've had bangs for 2 years, and now it just wants to part right there. So that's the news. And also, I'm available for consultations, for one-on-one readings. If you are interested in getting a reading from me, the link to book is in the description as well. And of course, as always, there are timestamps in the description as well if you want to hop straight to a day or skip my babbling. So usually at this point in the video, I go through some recent events, but I don't have any recent events for you because I am exhausted. I did not record last week because I was exhausted also. I've been very, to say it in astrological terms, let's just say Mars and the South Node being in Libra has been rough. For my poor Libra moon, I'm not a fan. So I've been exhausted. But I guess the news is we have a bit of a set going on here. I still want to get some shelves here so I can show off all my fun things, like my Neopet collection. So I have no news. Okay, let's move on. Enough of my babbles. So, let's talk about the first half of the week. This is when Mercury in Virgo trines Jupiter at 14 degrees Taurus. On Monday, September 25th is when this exacts. So the vibes are optimistic thinking, seeing on the bright side a bit more easily, finding hope in a difficult situation if you've been struggling out. I'm hoping this will hit me. Maybe broadened perspectives also, like being open to new ideas, being more open to things in general, maybe trying it's a good day to try new food, get something you've never had before, and you'll probably enjoy it. Also, Mercury is enhanced by Jupiter's trine here, so smoother and more pleasant conversations, maybe a casual chat with a friend feeling a lot more rewarding and fulfilling. Good news, possibly, for some of us. A higher chance of receiving encouraging feedback, maybe starting a new hobby or working on a project. Also, learning and growth are highlighted. Jupiter is the teacher and Mercury is the student. So with them in a trine, this is a great time for exploring new subjects, for reading, writing, starting a new hobby, or just working on a project and finding it a bit more enriching than usual. And practical planning is highlighted this week. You know, Jupiter in Taurus is enhancing Mercury in Virgo with this trine. So detailed and well thought out planning is supported. There's a balance of realism from all the earth energy as well as ambition from this trine. So, setting achievable yet challenging goals for the start of the week is supported. Starting strong, maybe having a good weekend. Maybe your weekend was great. Maybe you're watching this right now and you are cozy on your couch, drinking tea, whatever you do to be cozy and absorb information. The other thing about this is the third time this trine has happened, maybe the third time you've heard me talk about this because of Mercury's retrograde. So this is the beginning of the week might have some sort of maturation of topics due to this third occurrence of the trine. So for those of us girlies who are planners and write things down on our calendar or journal with the date, look back on August 9th or around August 9th. You'll notice that at the beginning of this week, there's a reflection of the same themes going on. Example being reaching a deeper understanding or finding closure on some sort of issue that surfaced around the first occurrence of this transit at the beginning of August. So let's see, so the beginning of the week is good for brainstorming new ideas, creating a vision board on Pinterest for a future project, or hosting a brainstorming sesh with your friends on Discord or something like that. Also, exploring new cultures, exploring new philosophies, exploring, adventuring, journeying, diving into a trending philosophical book, maybe, or a trending podcast that you noticed, or experimenting with some sort of trendy international recipe that you saw on a TikTok or something like that. Having open and heartfelt conversations is supported. If you have something to say to someone, the beginning of the week is the softest time to talk about it. Catch up with your friends over a group FaceTime, or share some sort of personal story or experience on Instagram, on your private Instagram story even. Again, learning and education is supported at the beginning of the week. Taking some sort of online class, like digital art or coding, is definitely supported. Starting a YouTube channel to document some sort of new hobby, that's also supported. Generous actions, shouting out a friend's small business on social media, sending a surprise delivery to your friend's house of their favorite snacks through DoorDash or something like that. Fuck DoorDash, but that's another conversation. Again, practical planning. Organize your digital photos, organize your desktop, fix, all this. My desktop is a mess, so maybe that's what I'll be doing, putting things in folders and recycle binning things. But yeah, like setting realistic goals for your streaming, if you're starting to do that, or your content creation journey, if you're on one of those journeys. So who will notice this the most? Look at the Taurus house and the Virgo house topics in your chart to identify what topics or what areas of life you might experience these vibes I've been discussing. So Taurus is the first and the fifth house, so that's very fun. That's a fun time. Virgo is the first and the ninth house, so that's very scholarly. That's very perspective broadening. It's good for school, good for travel. Gemini is the 4th and the 12th, so this is more of an internal, maybe you are more going into your cocoon and learning in that way. Sagittarius is the 10th and the 6th, so this is all work related for y'all. And Pisces is the 7th and the 11th, so it's all social for y'all. And those are the big ones. Of course, look at the Virgo and the Taurus houses in your natal chart to get an idea if you are none of those signs. So I want to talk about the end of the week. That was the beginning of the week. Now I want to talk about the end of the week, and then I'll go into the full moon. But the end of the week has Venus in Leo squaring Uranus at 22 degrees Taurus, and this exacts on Friday, September 29th. So these vibes you will be feeling towards pretty much all week, but definitely towards the end of the week or the middle of the week. Okay, so Venus is about love and pleasure and socialization and bringing things together. And Uranus is about autonomy, independence, progression, innovation. They don't generally match up. Traditionally, I should say, those archetypes do not generally match up. So I consider this malefic. As a overly Venetian person, I consider this actually as someone who has been personally victimized by Uranus in Taurus. I'm just saying this is a malefic transit. Not trying to, doom warn you, but I side-eye people who think this is a fun transit. So let's see. Sudden attractions are a big one. Feeling suddenly attracted to new people or new ideas. Not necessarily new either, but in unconventional or non-traditional, innovative stuff. So maybe you developing a crush on someone you met on a Twitter thread. That's total vibe. Also, relationships become a little bit unpredictable this week with this transit. Experiencing some sort of sudden change in relationships is possible. It could be as simple as a friend surprising you with a change in plans. It could be as surprising as your partner wanting to change the boundaries in the relationship somehow. One positive thing. Creatively, this is a good transit. You can have very sudden inspiration for new ideas, creative projects, like deciding on the spur of the moment to start a new TikTok challenge or something like that. That's total vibe. Also, Venus rules money, and Uranus is unpredictable, so financial fluctuations are possible this week, facing some sort of unexpected change in your financial situation. Generally, I would consider this malefic, so something like an impulse buying spree triggered by some sort of Instagram ad. They gotcha, you know? It could be, I don't want to just be all doom and gloom because I hate Uranus, but it could be something good, like finding $20 in your coat pocket after you washed it and dried it and you shouldn't have and you ruined it. That's the square. Squares bring adjustment. They aren't necessarily difficult, but some adjustment is difficult, right? Okay, the other thing about Uranus, it brings up freedom, autonomy, independence. It like murders codependency, and Venus loves codependency. So we have this this battle going on. So there's a desire for freedom this week, maybe feeling a stronger urge for autonomy, a stronger urge for independence and space. Maybe you suddenly want to take a solo trip and document that on your socials. That's a nice spin on Venus square Uranus. Venus also rules our values. So with Uranus coming through and trying to innovate, there can be a reevaluation of values. Reevaluation of values. So questioning what you find important in your life. Redefining your style, for example, like experimenting through different fashion trends is probably the most shallow explanation of this. Or it could be something as realizing that you don't want a nuclear family and you want an untraditional relationship. Emotional detachment is big too because Uranus is very heady. So finding it easier to detach from emotional situations as well. An example being like taking a break from a group chat, not opening it, not looking at it, taking a break from socials, freeing yourself of social media, or breaking up with a friend, breaking up with a partner. And it's the emotional detachment makes it less sad and more about autonomy and authenticity. That's one thing Uranus loves also, authenticity. So although there is some emotional detachment accessible, there's still possibility for heightened conflict, obviously, with all the adjustments coming up and the difference between Venus and Uranus. So don't be surprised if you notice people facing disagreements or conflicts that stem from different values, changes of opinions, sudden, unexpected switch-ups. Maybe you find yourself in a heated argument with someone over like different opinions. A Sophie stan arguing with a Joe stan. The shallowest example. So what is the end of the week good for then? If I am done talking shit on Uranus. I didn't even talk that much shit, let's be real. The end of the week could have you having a new crush, making a playlist for a crush, making digital art, some sort of collage just to capture the essence of your crush. Building your crush in Baldur's Gate. Building your crush in The Sims. I digress. My Neptune is showing. But new crushes highlighted. Changing dynamics. If you want to change, the end of the week is the time to make the change. Start some sort of fun, no stakes betting pool with your friends on The Golden Bachelor and who's going to win. Who's watching The Golden Bachelor? Please tell me. Please comment below. Let's discuss. I'm going to watch it. I'm so excited for Thursday. Wow, that's actually a good point. Venus square Uranus is about Venus doing things in an unconventional way. That's total Bachelor vibes, especially The Golden Bachelor. That's like super untraditional, out of the box for the Bachelor franchise. So Venus square Uranus is happening right when The Golden Bachelor premieres. And that's like a very neutral example, right? That's something different. I'm excited to watch that. But yeah, if you want to change something, the end of the week is a good time to change it. Do a book swap with your friends too. I want to, again, reiterate that I like to tell you what these transits are good for so that you can use the transit before the transit uses you. It's a good time to automatic write or find inspiration, some sort of creative inspiration, like posting more memes on social media, posting your face more on social media, or like doing a TikTok where you show video or take pictures of a bunch of weird stuff in your neighborhood. Like that's using Venus and Uranus and helping you stay inspired. So the other thing is the money situation. So it's a good week for budgeting. It's a good week for trying like a no-buy week where you only use what you have and you get creative with it. Or dude, a garage sale would be perfect for Venus square Uranus to declutter and get extra cash and like The people who go to garage sales are so Venus square Uranus, the garage sailors. On a deeper level, as I've been saying, this is a transit about breaking free of restrictions. So unfollowing a bunch of accounts that no longer align with you or that piss you off. Let's stop hate following people, okay? We all do a little bit of stalking, but let's stop hate following people. Unfollow people you don't like. Make your social media feed something you want to look at that doesn't just piss you off. Or going a little bit deeper, again, deciding to end a relationship or a friendship that's been feeling very restrictive, giving yourself more space for personal freedom and personal growth where somebody's holding you back. So, who will be noticing this Venus square Uranus the most? Of course, look at the Leo and the Taurus house topics in your chart to identify the areas of life where you will be noticing or experiencing this energy. Taurus, this will be your first and fourth house, so this is very foundational for you. This is like your home and your family. Leo, this is your first and your 10th house, so this is an overarching theme for you. It could be related to work, but it also branches off to everything else in your life. Scorpio, this is the 7th house and the 10th house, so this is partnerships, clients, working with other people, especially work, what you are known for doing. Aquarius, this is the 7th and the 4th house. So this is like you and your partner at home, you and your bestie at home, have something to do with a foundation, family member, etc. That's just a little brief overview. And for all the other signs, look at which of these houses rule, or which of these is Leo and Taurus in your chart. And you can see which house topics it will be bringing out for you. So let's move on to the full moon. The full moon is in the early morning of Friday, September 29th for most of us, or the evening in Hawaii of Thursday. So full moon is at 6 degrees Aries, and it's not really making any big aspects, thank goodness, but it is not the yummiest of full moons, and I'll get into why. But overall, we know that full moons are about things coming to a head, culminating, or a spotlight shining on something in your life, and then the release and the moving on from that. But first, we have to hit the culmination. So maybe on Friday, you're noticing, or Thursday night, you're noticing a buildup of tension. You might be wanting to cause a scene about something. Like, Aries is fiery. It is direct. It is no bullshit. So you might be feeling a buildup of tension, wanting to cause a scene, but you have to keep it under wraps or keep it low key. Maybe you end up doing it through subtweeting somebody, or like the printer has something to say. Or on like a deeper level, maybe there's just a deep reflection that you're experiencing on like the mounting issues in your life, and you're hitting a breaking point of some kind. This is peak frustration full moon vibes, because the moon's ruler is Mars in Libra, and that energy is going to pop out. So don't be surprised if you're getting very, very irritated with minor inconveniences at the end of the week, like uncooperative people or just internet trolls, like people in the comment section just really pissing you off, or like your favorite podcast host saying something problematic. This is an opportunity to kind of take time to seriously address underlying issues that have been bothering you. And that doesn't necessarily mean in an explosive manner, because Mars in Libra is ruling this moon. There's going to be some purgy feelings also, because Mars in Libra is conjoining the South Node in Libra. And Austin from this month's Astrology podcast did say something that's worth reiterating about this. Mars loves to separate things. It loves to take things apart. And the South Node is about deep, like, negation and letting go and not trying anymore. And together, they are very purgy. So I appreciate Austin's sentiment on that. So again, this is more support in like mass unfollowing people, deleting old pictures, archiving old pictures, or just like deciding to let go of toxic connections or toxic habits or toxic things that you are hanging on to for some reason. It's a great time to let go and purge things. Also, expect to notice some passive aggression this week, influenced by that restrained Mars and the Sun in Libra. One is detriment and one is in its fall, so both need to use Venus's tools to do Mars things. So you're going to find yourself or notice people giving backhanded compliments, for example. That would be Mars using Venus to do Mars things. Or struggling with some sort of deeper resentment and finding indirect ways to express that. There may be also, for this full moon, there may be an overflow due to the constrained fiery energy. Like the fiery planets, both the sun and Mars, are the fieriest planets, and they are both being constrained right now by Libra, which is like being constrained by social etiquette, the thing you do to stay in the status quo. So you might feel at the end of the week this overflow, this like, I don't want to say explosion because you still won't necessarily be exploding, but feeling the urge to break from social etiquette in general, maybe being a bit more blunt or outspoken in discussions online or offline, and this may or may not land properly due to Mars, but experiencing some sort of pent-up emotions, feeling an uncontrollable need to express yourself more authentically, and even if it breaks the norms, that's the vibe. And I did want to mention that this moon can possibly have a little bit of threads going back to the Venus retrograde, since Venus is still in its shadow until October 10th or 9th. And Venus, like I said, rules the sun and Mars, which rules the moon. So there may be echoes of past relationship dynamics popping up in your current social interactions for the end of the week, maybe through like nostalgic chats with friends. But again, revisiting some sort of past relationship themes, like going through old messages and just experiencing like deep feelings tied to them. So what is this full moon good for? What is this Friday good for with all this unhinged stuff going on? Friday is good for purging frustrations. So again, unfollow or mute people, delete people, delete everybody who's adding frustrations to you. You can also, if you can't delete them, you can write a burn letter. This is a great moon for a burn letter. Vent all your frustrations and write a letter that you don't intend to send. It could be to nobody. It could be to somebody. But then burn it as a symbolic release. The Aries full moon loves that. Friday is also good for art or creativity. So creating, it's a good one to practice a bold, fiery makeup look and sharing it on your socials. It's a good full moon to share an art piece that you've been working on. And just share something that expresses your fiery energy that you've been holding back. It's also a good day to address the elephant in the room for those of us who have an elephant there. Opening up some sort of dialogue about a passive-aggressive issue in your friend group is possible. Sitting down with a family member to have a heart-to-heart about a long-standing issue that has been under wraps for too long. This is also a good moon, again, thanks to Venus and Uranus, challenging social norms, wearing something totally out of the norm on Friday, rebelling against your usual style, rebelling and trolling just to irritate people, and rewriting unwritten rules that you live by, which were dictated by societal expectations. Notice them and throw them in the trash. So I have some homework for y'all. This is a good moon for setting up a swear jar, but for passive-aggressive comments, like making a game of catching yourself or somebody else in the act, if this is something y'all do. Also, meditate on the energy of fuck this. Yes, that's what I said. Meditate on the energy of, I quote, actually, fuck this. And consciously decide what you want to release from your life. So much of being a human is remembering to be mindful and remembering that you are a human and like paying attention to those mechanics. So meditating on what actually you do want to let go of. And light a candle on Friday or on Thursday night. I like Friday. Friday's better because then the moon will be officially in Aries. So light a candle with the intention to release something to do with the Aries house topics in your natal chart. So look at in whole sign. It's easiest in whole sign unless you have an eye for Placidus, but find which house in your chart is ruled by Aries. Everybody's chart has every sign ruling a house. No one has no Virgo. No one has no Aries. Everyone has Aries somewhere in their chart. So find where Aries is in your chart and light a candle to release something substantial related to the topics of that house. So for example, I'm a Scorpio rising. Aries is my 6th house. I should light a candle to release something that is holding me back from my ideal routine, or release something that is making me fearful about my pets. If you can't figure out what exactly you want to release having to do or let go of having to do with the Aries part of your chart, you can always think of like fears related to those house topics. So like if you have Aries in the 9th house, you can release fears having to do with education or something like that, or fears having to do with travel. So who will notice this full moon the most? To personalize this full moon, look at the house topics that Aries rules in your natal chart. This is where you're going to notice the full moon vibes. So here's the list for those who don't know where Aries is in their natal chart. And people with planets or points near the early degrees, 5 or 6 degrees of the cardinal signs, will be feeling this most viscerally. So people with planets or points near the early degrees of Aries, Cancer, Libra, or Capricorn will be feeling this vibe the most. This like bubble up, have to deal with it in some way vibe. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about weekend vibes after the full moon. After all that purgy release, we have Mercury trining Uranus. So it ripped from trining Jupiter to trining Uranus throughout the week. And we had some Uranus contact also, and another Mercury contact. So this is a very high energy, high anxiety type of week that can be channeled into good things. So if you find yourself falling into anxiety, know that if you direct that energy towards something productive, it will most likely pull you out of that. So Mercury trining Uranus at 22 degrees Taurus exacts on Saturday, September 30th. And the vibes are like aha moments, realizing stuff out of nowhere, finally understanding like the song lyric, some sort of song lyrics while mindlessly scrolling through TikTok, or just getting why your friend has been acting that way for the past few weeks. Also, creative sparks are flying, your brain's coming up with new ideas, just like early in the week. There will be a lot of good memes over the weekend. This week is also really good for technology, so tech harmony, things just like finally going smoothly with your gadgets. This is a time where your playlist shuffle is going to be playing all your favorite songs in a row. Maybe you'll get some surprise text messages, like random messages, a meme from a friend that you haven't talked to in ages, or starting a new game and quickly understanding the rules. So our brains are working quick and fun. So the weekend is good for any type of technology stuff, testing a fun new app everyone's been talking about, getting some sort of automation system, finally setting up your set properly. Sudden insights are coming in this week. Aha moments. Again, tweeting a funny thought that just comes to you and then it going viral. This is a great time for social interaction, hanging out with your friends, hosting a casual debate night, discussing latest hot takes from social media or pop culture. Totally, I would love to do that with my friends. Learning, again, is highlighted this weekend. So binge watching like some sort of YouTube series on Did You Know, or like some sort of YouTube video essay, or just taking the day to deeply immerse yourself in some sort of documentary series on Netflix this weekend is a thing. A flexible approach. So trying new things, trying a new breakfast recipe, trying a new restaurant, spontaneously taking a different route to work, or to just discovering new things. So who will notice this transit the most? Again, the Taurus and Virgo house topics in your chart, same as the beginning of the week, are going to be where you're going to be experiencing these vibes. So again, Taurus, that's the 1st and the 5th. So that's very fun. A fun weekend for Taurus risings. Virgo, that's the 1st and the 9th. Very productive for schoolwork or for traveling or for learning new things. Gemini is the 4th and the 12th. So this is more of this is kind of alone time, inner work type of vibe. So hanging at home with friends or having it be more online. Also travel with Gemini. Sagittarius is the 10th and the 6th house again, so work related. And Pisces, the 7th and 11th. This is very social for the Pisces. So that's what we have for the week. Comment below. Let me know what you have going on this week, or comment below if you have any questions or if I said anything that didn't make sense that I can clarify. I appreciate it if you could like this video or subscribe to help support me, to help me have food to eat, because I could really use the support right now. And hopefully I make partner with YouTube by the end of the year. That way I won't be begging. That way I won't be so hungry. I digress. Remember, you can join Pix's Fellowship for weekly or monthly personalized horoscopes emailed to you. You can, of course, join us in the Ninth House Discord server for some yummy community, or I'm available for consultations and readings if you're interested in that. All of the links are in the description. Thank you again for being here, and I will see you next week.